as to Luis Suarez, I mean, he's done phenomenally this season. Obviously, he's getting those clutch goals. He's making the difference. But I mean, when it comes to hindsight, a lot of people are quite critical of Barcelona for letting him go. I think that they were wrong to let him go on a free, but I don't think that they were wrong to get rid of him. I felt like he did need to go, and a lot of people forget this. And it's not just his wages, which are a huge part of this. It's also the fact that when he was playing, he wouldn't press, he was slow, he was lethargic, and it's okay to have one person in the team who's like this, but the problem is Messi can also be like this at times. He'll walk around, he won't press, he'll only spring into action when the ball comes near him. And that's no knock on either of the players, because obviously they're phenomenal. Messi's the best player in the history of the sport. Suarez is a phenomenal striker. But you cannot have two people in your team who are unwilling to press, who are unwilling to actively engage, and so Barcelona needed to push Suarez on. They needed to bring in fresh faces, and that's what they've done. A lot of people look at Martin Braithwaite and say, oh, you've gone from Suarez to Braithwaite, what a terrible downgrade. Martin Braithwaite is not a Suarez replacement. He was brought in as an emergency signing while Suarez was there, purely as a backup, and he's unlikely to last much longer at Barcelona, I don't think. They've got elections coming up, they've been postponed. They do have elections coming up. Laporta, who is the favourite to win, has been heavily linked with getting Haaland, for instance, and Raiola, who's Haaland's agent, is very keen on trying to give Haaland to Barcelona at a discounted price because he wants to improve his relationships with Barcelona. So, I mean, I'm not saying they will sign Haaland, but that is the sort of area they're looking for a Suarez replacement, not Martin Braithwaite. So, yeah, gift of hindsight. Suarez, great signing for Atletico Madrid, not necessarily a bad thing that Barcelona gave him away. The only mistake was giving him away to Atletico Madrid.
Well, for me, I kind of understand what you mean without having two players who won't press as an Everton fan. Because at the moment, one big criticism of James Rodriguez when coming to the club is the fact that defensively he is just so poor. And essentially, if Everton are not on the front foot within games or are struggling, he can kind of just disappear and not do anything. And defensively, when we're under the cosh, especially because he plays in the right wing, that area of the pitch can be quite problematic. And that's, I think, one of the reasons perhaps why Everton started becoming far more defensively solid when he became injured for quite a bit. So I think there was also a moment where Everton were linked also with Isco in the papers, right? I guess in a way it makes sense. They've got links now apparently with Real Madrid. It's another struggling club. Everton could maybe challenge for a top 4 place this season. But
I saw with the Isco stuff, I saw that as well. Yeah. I did. Yeah.
But the reality is, I don't think that would make a lot of sense either, because at the same time, in that, if you had that in the pit, if you also had Isco, you would then have two players, neither of which have got the ability to drop back in the game.
And with Suarez, it's not like he didn't get a chance. You know, he's had the issues with the pressing, but he had about 3 seasons where he was below average, and he was given the chance. Barcelona struggled to get a replacement in many ways because of the finances related with his wage bills. And so I think it's easy for a lot of people to look at what he's doing at Atletico Madrid, which is getting these clutch goals, which is what you do to win a title, and saying, you know, it was a bad idea to get rid of him. But I mean, he really did look like he needed to go at Barcelona.
See, the thing with Suarez is, I mean, I've obviously come into the last bit of conversation you've had about him leaving Barcelona, and you thought, you know, while it wasn't relatively a bad thing for Barcelona, you didn't expect it to be as good for Atleti as it was. I think with Suarez, he is a poacher. I mean, if you look at how he's played for Atletico Madrid, he hasn't exactly been tearing it up. He hasn't exactly been running around the whole pitch for 90 minutes. He knows where to be.
Do. If you look at João Felix and you think, oh, wow, his potential.
João Felix is a fantastic player. He's a brilliant player. He really is. He's something else.
And you think, like, rarely is that Atletico win by, as Jack rightly said, they're grinding out wins. They're not. It's rarely. I've never seen it go above 3. I do look at La Liga and I do see the fixtures and the scores, and they've. I don't think they've broken 3 many times. I think 3 goals. That is. They might get 1 or 2-0, and that's usually what happens. So I think that is definitely maybe an issue there, underlying issue.